saved him, and he saved me right back. My name is Wendy Green, and I have a background in both horses and special education, and working, actually combining the two with inner city gang kids, teaching them to ride and using that to establish relationship and moving forward from there.
Yes,
Lots of horse stuff.
Yes, you are our treasurer now,
Yep.
and Ralph is part of the herd at Equanimity.
Yep.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about how you found your way over here?
Well, I had 2 car accidents and 2 strokes over a period of about 6 years. And I was pretty much bedridden. I didn't want to get out of bed. It just hurt. Everything, all the movement hurt. And I would kind of go to physical therapy and do what I had to do, but that was all. And my husband, for our anniversary, got me horseback riding lessons. I wound up, I said, I need a horse. I'm old. I need a horse with a really smooth trot. And they said, well, we've got a horse, but he's really wild. But if you can get him to settle down, he has a nice trot. I'm like, well, let's give it a try. And they thought, yes, hello. They thought he was just a wild child, and he wasn't. He's a horse that was a race horse in various ways, barrel races and the quarter-mile races. And he earned about $60,000 for his people. So there's a lot of whips and spurs that go into getting that kind of money. And so he was not being wild. He was just having PTSD and just like, I'll run, don't hurt me, and we had lunch a lot. We just finished lunch over there. We've had lunch for almost 3 years now. I worked with him for a year, and I think the man over there that saw that, he was my fairy horse. I could just think where I wanted him to go, and he's just doing flying lead changes and just everything. And he came up one day and he said, Ralph's not really good for our program. And I thought, oh no, they're gonna sell him or, get rid of him. And my heart broke. And he said, would you like to have him? And I'm like, I can't afford him. And he said, I'll give him to you. What? So, did the math, and I went from there to the white barn over there. And I met Jeannie just kind of because Jeannie's Jeannie, and she says hi to everybody. She helped me with Ralph, and I loved the way I saw her work with Ralph. I've only had the first session of ease, and it was, I've been riding horses since the 70s. I was a horseback riding teacher for a decade, and I learned something different. I learned a different way to connect with horses above and beyond even my way. I saved him, and he saved me because, this left arm, I couldn't do anything with it. But you can't brush a horse this big with 4 different brushes with one hand. It just gets tired. So I saved him, and he saved me right back. So
Yeah, thank you, Wendy.
he's my boy.
And how was that for you transitioning with him into the herd? Because he hadn't really been a part of a herd before. He'd been primarily in stalls.
Yeah, his life was stall, arena, trailer, stall, arena, trailer, that kind of stuff. And, even though over at the other place, they took good care of him. They turned him out with the other horses a couple of times a week, but it was different horses every time. And, he had people that were in stalls on either side. But here, it was interesting to watch him go from no interaction at the other barn to some interaction here at the white barn to when we put him in the herd, he just became a different animal. When it was just he and I was his whole world. He used to sit, they tell me, and I could see it when I come in, he sits and stands by the furthest out that he can get to the road and just looks for my cab to come. And once he was here, he really didn't. I mean, he'd come over and say hi to me, but he has his own life now. He has his own thing. And to watch him go from a skittish, just frantic, just frightened horse to this. If you knew horses, you would know how unusual this is.
One of the really special things about seeing horses live as a herd is that they can really, once they come into, like you said, he's become more himself. And so we've watched the horses grow, and they grow each other up, and they grow each other, they don't become different from who they are. They become their authentic self.
Yeah.
And so it's really awesome to see him with you, and he is different with you. Like, he's very, very relaxed. I mean, not that he's not relaxed other times, but he has a special connection with you, and that's very obvious. And he has these ways that he contributes to the herd and to other people that come here. It's really amazing. So it expands them in their capacity to be connected and to be relational.
And Jeannie, he had terrible hooves. Oh my gosh. And Jeannie has this world-renowned farrier, and it was a long journey of almost a year. We got hit by a bicycle. It was just everything happened. But now his hooves are sound, and he's sound, and he has a life, and it makes me happy to see him be who he is, instead of just this horse that's, like a turtle, having his head kind of pulled into the shell.
And all the licking and chewing. So he's doing a lot of communicating right now. His lips are really soft and loose and relaxed. And the way he's breathing and the licking and chewing, those are all signs of just being really content and settled, which is really sweet. It's literally a 1,000-pound mammal.
Yeah.
And so one of the things in the horse world is, some people are really adamant about putting metal horseshoes or shoes on horses, and some people, that's sort of the thing that you automatically do. And none of our horses wear shoes, and Jeannie's off camera now. She can speak to that at a different time. But we have some senior, very senior horses here.
Very. I didn't know horses could live to 40.
I know we have a horse who's turning 41 this year, which when we asked our veterinarian what is the oldest horse he'd work with, he got quiet and he said Blue, which is this horse here. And so Jeannie has a very special attention to what they eat, how it's organic, the medication, not using any medication really, just using natural supplements and using food as medicine in a lot of ways, and using hands-on body work and light therapy and acupuncture and those types of things. And so we really have a very balanced herd here. It's really beautiful to see, and they're very cared for. And they do a fantastic job caring for us and the critters that are around here too. It's any given day, especially now that it's spring, you can see the horses are eating. They've usually dribbled some food on the ground, and there's rabbits and the little ground squirrels and sometimes lizards and different birds are all eating together. It's really a lot of mutuality that happens here, and it's really special to see. So, yeah. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being our treasurer.
No, I appreciate it. And it's funny. The air is different here. It just feels different here. And it's crazy. Because I'm legally blind, my seeing eye dog's over there, I take cabs. And the cab drivers come and they're like, can I pet one of those horses? And I'm like, sure, yeah, come on. And they're like, it just feels so peaceful here. And I'm like, that's why it's equanimity.
Yeah.
Because it's peaceful.